We need to talk about your balls. Are they smooth or covered in bits of annoying fluff? These are my balls. See how they glisten in the light? Your balls can be like these, but you gotta use the right tools for the job. This? No. This? No. This! Only if that's what you're into. Balls are delicate, sensitive, easy to damage. Someone's taken a chunk out of that one. That's why I use the Lawnmower 4.0. It's got skin-safe technology with a replaceable ceramic blade, so you can trim with confidence. It's got an LED light, so you can always see what you're doing. Lights, please! And what's more, it's got a wireless charging system and it's waterproof. You can even drop it in your pint. You wouldn't want to drink it, though. It's got pubes in it. The Manscaped Lawnmower is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. That's over 4 million balls. Isn't it time you joined them and use the right tools for the job? Because when it comes to balls, you don't want to muck about.
Go to manscaped.com and check out the all-new Lawnmower 4.0 and receive free shipping.
New Mood is an effective daily stress supplement designed to help you relax and help your body maintain an optimal mood balance. Great for unwinding after a long day and helping to ease ordinary stress, New Mood works by combining the two raw building blocks of important neurotransmitters, L-tryptophan and 5-HTP, to help the body maintain a state of peaceful calm. Check the reviews. Thousands of people worldwide are already enjoying the relaxing effects of New Mood on a daily basis. And right now, as a special offer, we're giving you the opportunity to try New Mood totally free. Just pay shipping and handling, and we'll send you out a free 30-count bottle of New Mood right away. Simple as that. The reason we are doing this is that we're confident you'll love New Mood and that you'll make it a part of your daily routine. And if you don't want to, we'll make it as easy as possible to cancel. We're only able to offer a limited amount of free bottles per day, so get your free bottle of New Mood now while it's still available.
The good. The bad.
Welcome back to the Final Shot Podcast. Today the podcast is brought to you by Onnit. If you're not on it, get on it at onnit.com/TFS podcast and save 10% on your purchase. Guys, check them out. They have the best supplements on the planet, earth-grown nutrients. They got kettlebells, battle ropes. It doesn't matter. You want it, Onnit's got it. Again, it's onnit.com/TFS podcast. We're also brought to you by USG Canada. Hit up my boy Howie. It's Howie at USGCanada.com. He makes the best custom gear on the planet. There's no heavy patches or anything on your trunks or your walkout gear. It's all printed into the fabric. All your sponsors, all your logos, it's all printed right in there. Hit him up, Howie at USGCanada.com. We're also brought to you by a fan favorite, Fleshlight. If you're sick of touching yourself with your hand, get yourself a fucking Fleshlight, guys. They're fantastic. They're not fucking around. Hit them up. Use the promo code FINALSHOT and you'll save some money on your purchase. Last but not least, we are brought to you by TKO Beards. You see this fantastic beard I got on the front of my face? I only put TKO Beard products in it. Hit them up. It's TKObeards.com. Use the promo code. What the fuck is the promo code? Final Shot. Use the almost forgot the promo code. Promo code Final Shot. TKObeards.com. Guys, if you're on YouTube right now, you can see who my guest is, and everybody already knows his name. If you're not on the YouTubes and you're not watching video, ladies and gentlemen, my guest today is Shinigami the Reaper. How's it going, brother?
Going mostly okay. There's one problem I've had since last week, but other than that, I'm good.
What was the problem?
Someone stole my car on Saturday.
Oh yeah, I seen that on your Instagram. Did you get that fucking thing back?
Hell no.
It's a 1989 Honda Civic DX.
It's a 91 with a mismatching red hood, and no one's found it in 5 days. I can't find it anywhere. It's a big desert. It's probably the chop shop. Who knows?
Why on God's green earth would somebody steal a 1991 Honda Civic?
The parts are getting hard to find, and the 89 to 92 Civics have always been kind of a chop shop like special, because the parts fit a lot of other cars.
Okay.
For some reason,
it's a. They're also easy to steal.
Yeah, apparently.
Well, back in the day, I had a 1989 Honda Civic, and the ignition went on it, so I couldn't turn the key to start it. So I popped that thing out the back of it, and there's just it's super easy. Like, you just pull it off. And then you turn this metal thing, and away your car goes, and you're going. I drove it like that for like a year and a half.
Yeah, the first time it got stolen, they started it. I was at Walmart. It got stolen once, like a couple years ago, back in like 2019.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, around the same time of year. And some people stole it to joyride it, and they drove it over to Target. But they started with the screwdriver I had in the glove compartment for like emergency use.
Okay, so you left a hijacking tool in the vehicle. That wasn't smart.
It wasn't in there this time. I don't know how they hijacked it. I don't know how they got in the car. I had the door locked. They might have been able to, like, the window was cracked a little bit for ventilation, but nobody heard anything. It's weird. Like, the dogs didn't bark, nothing. So we got 6 dogs. You think they'd bark?
Where do you live?
Middle of nowhere, Lake Los Angeles, California, in the beautiful Mojave Desert.
That blows my mind that somebody would steal your Honda Civic, but I'm guessing you're not going to.
That blows my mind too.
You're
Just
not
to give you an idea of where I live.
Yeah.
Because I live right down the street from a movie set that I guarantee you've seen in a music video, a movie, or commercial somewhere.
Okay.
You ever seen Joe Dirt?
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember when he meets Kick and Wing and they go driving down that dirt road?
Yeah.
Towards the Grand Canyon?
Yeah.
That's 150th Street East. That's 2 blocks away from my house. And it looks like there's nothing there. But a little further up the street, you can see neighborhoods and stuff. And that even where he meets Kick and Wing is on that street. There's a movie set there called Club Ed. They filmed everything from X-Files to Devil's Rejects there. So right next to where the fireworks stand is set up is the Easy Restin' motel set, which is where they film a bunch of music videos and stuff, and like that's where they filmed most of Devil's Rejects.
Okay.
And then up behind that, they own the property up on the butte behind that too. So I actually drove by when they were filming Scorpion King and never knew it for years until I realized that that's what was going on there, because I saw it was the scene where they were buried up to their necks to get executed by the ants, eating them alive. So I remember I was like 11, 12 at the time. And I remember seeing like some fake rocks up in this little dirt area where there's like some natural rocks behind it. I'm like, why would they put all these fake rocks when there's I didn't, it was the anthills over there, like spiky things. Realized years later on my like 5th time watching Scorpion King that, that's right over there.
Jeez.
So that's how middle of nowhere it is. And that's, yeah.
Needless to say, you're not getting this car back.
Probably not. I'm going to give it till Saturday, and then I'm going to have to start a GoFundMe or something because I don't have enough money to buy another car right now.
Good Lord. So everybody that listens to this podcast is probably going to know you from your time that you spent on The Fighter and The Kid, which was great for you.
Oh, it was amazing.
Now, are you still cool with these guys?
I mean, yeah, as far as I know, I haven't heard from them in a while, but yeah, as far as I know.
Now, did they actually end up sponsoring you for one of your fights?
No, I didn't want to bother him for that because he did cover the bill for my car repair that I had to get the same week I went on the show. So I'm not the kind of guy to seem greedy or ask for more than I need for anything. So I didn't bother him for that. Although I did I hit up his producer to try to have him because they said they wanted to go see a live Street Beefs. So I've been trying to get them to come to an event when I'm there, but I guess their schedules didn't match up, so they didn't, pass the message on.
Well, either which way, very cool opportunity for you on a very high profile podcast. And it definitely got you off to the races. But you are a competitive athlete in what we're going to call street beefs. I don't exactly know what it is. I know that it's amateur fighting on the ground. Sometimes there's hay bales around. Now there's like a cage or a ring or something. Tell me about street beefs.
Okay, so street beef started out in Virginia as a way for people to solve disputes without gun violence in the hood, basically. And it actually started completely by accident. I guess Scarface, one day, a couple of guys in his neighborhood knocked on his door and asked if they could fight in his backyard to squash a beef. And it kind of kicked off from there. I guess he started leaving up flyers and stuff. They have a whole video about it on their YouTube, I think. But like he started putting up fires in like local bodegas and liquor stores and stuff like that. You know, come to the yard, settle your beef, guns down, gloves up. And then it took off from there. He started filming it. He never planned for it to be what it is now. He didn't expect it to blow up like that. He just, by luck, he started filming them, and then he started putting them on YouTube. There's a lot of them that never even made it on YouTube from the early days, back in like 2008. And, you know, it got bigger and bigger and bigger from there. And then people just wanted to start testing themselves. So we started just letting people come to compete. And it wasn't, instead of it just being beef fights. And about a year ago, he started letting other people in other parts of the country start branches. People that had fought for him and he felt had good character to represent the org well, you know, start other branches in other parts of the country, since not everyone can go to Virginia, especially since once they started giving out belts for champs and all that. Mm-hmm. You know, you're supposed to defend the belt every 5 months. You know, it's not everyone can afford to travel all the way from one side of the country to the other for that. Yeah. So, you know, Street Beast West Coast, the Street Beast Scrapyard started up around that time. Now we have Texas Anarchy, which became, now it's actually Street Beast Dirty South. So I actually managed to get into Street Beast West Coast 1 at the last second. I've been watching Street Beast for years. And when Scarface actually came out here in 2019, around the time my car got stolen the first time, and I was actually trying to sign up and go because it was right over here in Kern County that he did it, just on the other side of the county line in the middle of the desert. And I couldn't make it because my car got stolen. So almost a year later, he let two of the guys that started, that showed up for that, Tiny Tank and Cheeto Zed, start Street Beast West Coast. And I joined, I was already in the Street Beast Facebook group. They had a Street Beast West Coast Facebook group. They just started to sign up for that. So I tried to sign up for it, and then they said it got moved to Vegas from Southern California. Then it was canceled. Then it was back on in Vegas, and then it got moved back to California. But I didn't know that because I wasn't seeing every post. So I ended up hitting up Tank the day of the event. First thing in the morning when I got up, I was like, man, when's the next one in California going to be? Because I really want to fight for you guys, you know? And he was like, well, it's today. I was like, well, I thought it was in Vegas. So we had a little quick back and forth about the same thing I just said, you know, algorithm, I wasn't showing me all the stuff in my feed. And even when I went to the group, I scrolled down for like 10 minutes, didn't see it. So he was like, we had a couple no-shows. Go ahead and just come straight down. It was like an hour and a half away from me, roughly. So I made it just after start time. And kind of the rest is history there. Started out with the hay bales because that's the quickest thing they could get. Yeah. Even on the East Coast Yard, if you go back to the older videos, there was no barrier originally over there. Then they had like the wall of fame set up, and then like some tires to mark the corners. And then they made like a rope ring, and then they finally got a cage. Same thing on the West Coast. We've had different locations, so what kind of setup we've had has varied by where we were able to set up. Like first place we had hay bales. Then they have the Sandbox in Vegas, which has a cage. Mm-hmm. We had a spot in Ojai, but we can't do events in California right now. Someone complained to the commission or something, so the California State Athletic Commission's kind of power hungry. You know, they like to abuse their power a bit, and was like, yeah, nah, you guys can't do it unless you basically make it a sanctioned event. And you know, there's supposed to be exhibitions where people just come and try to test themselves out without having to pay anybody any money to do it or pay to get in or anything. It's like there's no money involved, basically, is what it is. Okay. So the place in Ohio, we had a cage too. You know, so every location kind of has its own little vibe. Even the cages are all different. The Sandbox is a square cage. Mm-hmm. Scrapyard has a hexagonal cage. It's a little smaller than the OG yard cage, which is almost full size cage. And I think theirs is an octagon shape over there. So yeah, and I've fought in all the branches except for the Texas one too. So it's a very unique experience going all those places.
It's very, very different. I before we got on here, I watched a couple of the fights. Now, the first couple ones I watched weren't great. There was the one, what was it, Nasty Native?
Oh yeah,
that one ended very quickly. That guy can actually fight though. He's got some skills.
He was 1-1 or 2-1 amateur in MMA, and he was like a amateur boxing contender for a while.
Yeah.
Before COVID. So he's definitely skilled.
But I did watch another one where you took the guy down to the ground and you did work down there. I've obviously seen the head kick. That one's fun. How many fights have you had with Street Beef altogether now?
8.
So your record is going to be 5-3.
Actually, it's 6-2 because they had a new rule over there when we went to for the West Coast invasion of the East Coast. This last fight I did, they didn't tell anybody, and that you only have 10 seconds on the ground if you're not doing significant damage or advancing position. I thought, because I'm used to just regular MMA rules, right? Because that's kind of how we do on the West Coast. If you're on the ground and you're actively hitting, working, doing anything, they're not going to stand you up over here. So I started punching, striking Viking, and I thought, that was going to be enough to kind of let me soften up a little bit and then try to work transition. But they stood us up because he was kind of holding me, and I had full mount though. So it's kind of a draw. Scarface afterwards declared a draw because of that, because I was confused. Everyone from the West Coast that was there was confused. Okay. As to why I got stood up, because I was actively, moving, punching, full mount, all that. So I'm actually supposed to go out there and do a rematch. It's supposed to be December, but I'm gonna hit up Scarface because I live pretty far from my gym, and without the car, I haven't been in there. And before my car got stolen, I was actually letting a knee injury heal. Okay. So I took 2 weeks off of training before my car got stolen. But so I'm actually 6-2 technically. Well, it's weird.
We'll call it 6-2. Fuck it. But so recently you had a little stint with the COVID.
Yeah, that was horrible.
What exactly happened to you?
I ended up getting COVID-related pneumonia. I lost my sense of taste and smell. I had to quarantine at home for a couple weeks. They gave me some corticosteroids and an inhaler and some antibiotics for the corticosteroids for my lungs to keep them from getting effed up from the COVID. Yeah. The antibiotics were to get rid of the pneumonia. The inhaler was for any bronchial inflammation. I actually thought I had bronchitis because I was coughing up stuff. And other than that, I mostly felt okay. Like there's pressure in my chest, but that's kind of what happens with any lung infection. So I ended up testing positive for COVID. I was actually supposed to go up to the scrapyard for their 1-year anniversary to guest ref. And then I was supposed to go to Street Beast West Coast 10 the week after that and do a beef fight. And I had to cancel both of those. And then, I kind of just ended up sitting at home watching movies and sleeping a lot. And then, slowly the pressure in my chest was like the last thing to go. I had a couple of things. I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel better. Yeah, let me come up to the scrapyard and fight. Like, that was kind of stupid of me. Mm-hmm. And then I picked the toughest guy they had up there because I'm not going to pick, guys that I felt were, below my skill level, because I didn't want to, you know how it is. You want the challenge, right? You want the tougher guy. You want to test yourself at all times, not go, oh, here's a guy I can beat. Let me have him, right? So I picked Nerd Rage, and I didn't realize how much more experience because he's sanctioned amateur too. He's like 5-2 amateur MMA, and that dude almost broke my jaw. Oh. And knowing that I had a title defense, that's why I tapped there. I probably wouldn't have won that fight either way, but I didn't want to stay in there and get like seriously damaged. Yeah. Because we're not getting paid for it, nothing like that. Even he was like, "Yeah, that was a smart choice." Because like that was crazy. And then Nasty Native, I didn't even feel that. That was the weirdest thing. Matter of fact, that's how I know I was knocked out, because even though I kind of got up quick, I didn't know where I was when I got up. And I guess because my brain had a thought of what I was going to do and what I tried to do, when he cracked me, my brain continued the thought processing as if that was what was happening. So my thing was grab the leg, use the single leg to spin him around to the cage and take him down. And so 1 second I'm reaching for his leg, and the next second, I'm in my mind, that's what's happening. I'm dragging him to the ground, and I hear the crowd going, ooh, like, okay, cool. I got position. I'm just going to start working. Next thing I know, I'm waking up and I'm on my ass, And I'm like, whoa, what? And like, yeah, that was nuts. Whew. I can't tell you to this day how hard Nasty Native hits, because the ones that landed, I didn't feel them at all. I was just.
Those are the ones that get you, though. I am glad that you recovered from COVID and you're fine. I'm going to get a little political on here for a couple seconds, if you don't mind. But we do have a weird time going on in the world right now where there's a pandemic that they want to call a pandemic, whether it was human released or it was some kind of fucking weird bat. Either which way, something fucked up's going on. And pardon my language if you don't like cussing, but I do cuss.
I used to work in kitchens, man. Chefs cuss worse than sailors. I was just trying to be professional on your podcast and not drop F-bombs, but
fuck it. But there's a lot of stuff that's going on in Australia, Canada, the United States, and a lot of it that citizens can't help, and they kind of have to go along with mandating vaccines and forcing people to get stuff. I'm pro-choice. I think if you want to get a vaccine, you go get a vaccine. I think if you don't want a vaccine, you don't have to get one. It's your choice. But when politicians and government try to put things in that people have to do, that going to get a shot that we don't know what it is, there's something very wrong with that, and that impedes everything that I think is wrong in the world. So I definitely I stand against mandatory vaccines. You can take your face diapers and shove them up your ass too, because breathing carbon dioxide, we're not meant to go around 8 hours a day with a fucking mask on our face. So whether you guys are fans of Alex Jones or Joe Rogan, these guys are guys that are standing up against what's going on. Give them a listen, give them a like. I don't agree with everything that they say. I don't know exactly what's going on because I'm not that smart. But something weird is happening in the world and it needs to stop now. So if you have a voice and you have an opinion, stand up and say it. Don't be silent. Okay, back to Shinigami.
I'll definitely say I bet the Australians wish they still had their guns, man.
I would guess so.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I as far as mandates go, I mean, I remember having to do mandatory vaccinations in school, you know. Yeah. So my thing on that is, you know, it is what it is. I don't see that big of a problem with it. But then again, in the United States, it's a little bit different than it is in, say, Australia, where they're able to get away with being extremely draconian about it. Whereas over here, it's kind of like, it's a mandate, not a law. You're supposed to follow it, but technically you don't have to, and you can kind of get away with not doing it, even if it involves some legal battle crap that you'll inevitably win because of the Constitution and stuff. But yeah, some of the stuff I'm hearing about Australia is just like, bruh.
It's insane.
Yeah, all those years of trying to flex on us about our mass shooting problem, you know, because y'all gave up your high capacity rifles and only have little, you know, pea shooter pistols now. Bet you're wishing you still had those now at this point, because 15 minutes. I don't know if you heard about the selfie check thing over there.
No, I haven't heard that.
So they have this thing now where there's an app on your phone, and if you go outside of your house, you have to report where you're going and send a selfie of yourself at that location within 15 minutes of, you know, you being there, or they come to arrest you.
That's insanity.
That is absolute insanity.
The good luck enforcing that worldwide. You might be able to get away with that in fucking Australia, but you bring that to America or Canada, it ain't happening.
There's too many people with guns over here for that.
Yeah, you should come to my neck of the woods.
All you had to say was the woods. It's Canada. I get it. The woods. Same thing down here. We got guns everywhere, but the woods? Stay out of the woods.
But I had a lot of questions come in for you today, but the one main one is, what is this guy doing? Because you're not exactly the quintessential fighter. Like, I see you walking down the street, and I'm going to be like, hey, man, this guy's probably cooking or working at Tim Hortons, or I don't know what the hell you do. But you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't guess that you're getting into street fights or fights in a cage in somebody's backyard.
Sorry, Tim Hortons is like the most Canadian. We don't have it down here. And the only reason I know what Tim Hortons is because I used to watch Epic Mealtime.
Yeah.
Tim Hortons. Yeah, super Canadian over here. Yeah, I used to work in kitchens. I've been battling my weight up and down since I was in like middle school.
Okay.
But yeah, I've actually done martial arts for about 14 years, and kind of the COVID weight last year from not being able to go anywhere and work out because every place I was training was closed at the time. My body, if I don't work out like full time all the time, I have a hard time keeping weight off, and I don't eat a lot of junk food or carbs. Really, it's just I don't know what it is. My body just don't process stuff like normal. And I've had blood tests and stuff and can't figure it out, but because the numbers usually come back normal. But like I eat mostly like grilled chicken and vegetables for most of my meals.
Really?
You know, yeah. Believe it or not. Matter of fact, that's been my routine for like the last almost probably about a decade. Was once I started doing meal prep when I was training full time the first time back about like 2012. I buy a bunch of chicken at the beginning of the month, fillet it, grill it up, and put each fillet in a bag, and then just have whatever vegetables with at the side. Breakfast I usually have like a little bit of pineapple and some peanuts. That's because pineapple is supposed to have a fat burner in it, and yeah. So funnily enough, too, the last 2 kitchen jobs I had actually had helped me burn some weight off because I was running around them so much in tiny little kitchens. But that industry sucks, and I'm done with that. I will never work in the kitchen again. I will never work in food service again, ever.
So do you have a regular job now?
No. I was working as a PE teacher at a charter school that had a really high turnaround because they don't really back up their classified workers, which is non-certified. Okay. They have a really that's the position they have a really high turnaround with, the PE instructor. And then COVID hit, so I haven't really had a job since then. Because 99% of my resume is food service stuff, so I've been trying to get out of that. And right when I finally got out of it, and I was actually putting in applications at like other like school districts out here, because that's a nice little off by 4 p.m. like those kind of positions, so I'd have time to go train and still make money. At this point, now that because I have people constantly asking me how they can come train with me, they're all in other areas. At this point, if I had like a proper setup where I could maybe do something, because I don't have a laptop. This is a desktop. If I had like something where I could set up a laptop out back or something, maybe start doing some online lessons or something. I might go long term anyways to teach full time, but yeah, I've actually applied at a couple of gyms, but they're in LA that are looking for instructors.
Okay.
So I don't know. That's kind of what I'm trying to do is either paid martial arts instructor positions, because I am a first degree black belt in Kempo Shotokan, so I'm qualified to be an instructor for sure. But yeah, anything but the food industry.
So what is the goal then with the fighting? Is this just a passion thing where you just want to get in there and compete, or do you want to eventually at some point like try a professional fight?
I would like to try a professional fight. I actually was going to try to go pro after this last fight. Like, or I was originally planning. I was going to go do that, do one title defense and one more title defense, and then go pro. But the last 2 fights didn't exactly go my way, and it kind of, I thought I could kind of slide by without really, because I hate boxing. I hate training boxing because I hate not being able to do throws and kicks.
Okay.
But that's my biggest weakness, and that got pointed out really glaringly against these last few guys that have,
boxing,
done sanctioned fights and have better boxing skills.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I need to work on, and then just more conditioning. And then, hopefully, sometime next year I can go pro. I definitely do want to go pro and do some pro fights and, make a little money that way and, make a name for myself to really show how legit I am, because not everybody values street beefs for what it is or what level of talent some of the fighters have.
Yeah.
So, it's one thing to go in there and do well in street beefs. It's another thing to go, full sanction professional career and demonstrate skills that are, the same legitimate skills that you show in street beefs, but it's just I feel it will help me build my brand so that when I do open a gym and start teaching full time, people know who I am and want to come train there, like for real, you know.
You seem like a marketable guy. You've put together what I don't know what this is that you're wearing, obviously, but it's a persona that you've put together and it works. I seen you and I was like, oh shit, this guy's got a personality. Okay, we can work with him.
So this is a gi. Actually, my original gi I used to use for like tournaments and stuff is right over here. That's the one I wore in my very first fight with street beefs. I used to wear it at little karate tournaments at like an MMA division. Kind of for the same reason Maurice Gracie wore his gi back in the day. People have rash guards or whatever, or they're all sweaty. Gives you some grip, even though that's not a jiu-jitsu gi. It still gives you some grip. And black and red are part of the Kempo colors, black, red, and white. I'm also kind of a goth kid, so black and red are my favorite colors. So being a Kempo practitioner and all of that, and I was like, okay, at street beefs, I know I've seen like Rising Phoenix wearing his Kung Fu uniform. I know they're not going to tell me I can't wear my karate uniform. So, two things with starting street beefs was, one, it was a free way to do full contact and try my hand at that. And two, COVID had shut down all the karate tournaments. Because I was going to do that for a couple of years before trying to do full contacts again. I was training for it in 2014. I was supposed to do an amateur fight, and then I got an injury. Then they kind of had to pull out of that. And so I never got to do a sanctioned AMI fight. And then, COVID hit and all that. So, thing with karate tournaments, when you're a black belt, there's a lot of tournaments where even though it's point sparring, if you win your division, you win money. So I was going to start doing that and just exclusively do tournaments where the black belt division has a money prize and try to make some money that way. And maybe turn into like a week because every weekend there's a tournament somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. Or there was before COVID. So my plan was to kind of sort of be, I guess you could call it a semi-pro karate fighter.
Hey, whatever works for you.
And then try to do full contact MMA. But so then the whole thing with this was, again, color scheme, everything. I wore the one that I used to wear for tournaments, which is now retired and is only kind of a set decoration and eventually is going to get framed. I'm a frame and hanging on the wall, but it was just it's like, okay, so I'm a karate fighter. I'm gonna wear my gi top, but I'm gonna wear MMA trunks because I don't want them trying to grab my pants. I don't know, it's not really allowed. You're not supposed to grab shirts or pants or anything, but some people instinctively do it. And you ever do jiu-jitsu?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you know how it is. Someone grabs the cuff of your pant by your ankle and pulls on your leg, and they got to get a grip on it. There's not a whole lot you can do about it if they get you fast enough. So I was like, I'm gonna wear the MMA trunks, and then everything I have is already black and red because that's just my thing. So I showed up all color coordinated, representing my base art karate with the karate gi and everything, and then I kind of just wear this on all the interviews and everything because everyone expects it.
I wasn't expecting it. You showed up and I was like, "Oh, he's in full character. This is awesome."
Yeah. It's because it's kind of the brand now, right? Like that's the brand. They even asked me to wear like on the Fighter and the Kid when I went over there. So I was like, all right, cool. The headband thing has always just been because I sweat a lot. Like I sweat a lot, really heavily, really quickly. So this has always just been, when I train and compete and stuff to keep the sweat out of my eyes. So that's where the headband thing came from.
Yeah.
Took the one I wear in street beefs is just straight red. I was like, just in case I start bleeding, so maybe they don't see it. Little page out of the old British military handbook from 100 years ago.
So when I was watching your fights, and I didn't know the rules off the hop. So I see everybody's fully clothed. And I'm like, okay, so if I'm going to fight this guy, guaranteed, one, I'm not wearing a shirt. Two, I didn't know you're not allowed to grab clothes. So the first thing I'm thinking, I'm going to collar choke this kid.
I mean, I would actually be willing to have a special rules match with someone where gi chokes and stuff were allowed, but they have to be wearing a gi top too.
Yeah.
You know, so I wouldn't mind that though. But yeah, most of these guys either wear like t-shirts so they don't get cut up on the ground, or they just don't wear a shirt because they don't care. But yeah, it's like, yeah, just in case, because one of the tournaments I was doing, they never explicitly said you couldn't wear a gi, but I assumed you couldn't. Mm-hmm. And they have a belt thing too, where you fight in your weight class, and then you fight the winners of all the other weight classes in your age bracket for a belt. And I kept making it to that round. And one time I had a really close match with this dude. And the one thing that would have won me the match was one takedown. But every time I tried to throw him or grab him or anything, he slipped off because he was just wearing a tank top. And I had a rash guard on instead of a gi top. So I was like, are we allowed to wear gis at these things? And they were like, yeah, you can, but they're allowed to grab it. I was like, all right, cool. And then street beefs, yeah, it's a little bit different. But the thing with street beefs is you can kind of wear whatever you want as long as it's not a hazard to you or the other fighter. In fact, they're actually doing a Halloween event this weekend in Street Beefs West Coast. That's everyone has to wear a costume.
Wow, really?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be a full costume, but you kind of have to have something going on. So I expect to see a lot of people wearing like superhero rash guards and stuff like that. Yeah. I was supposed to go rep it, but we couldn't quite get the funds up to get me out there. So I won't be there. I was going to dress as a samurai. I have a hakama and everything from which I never ended up using. I got it so I could do sword kata at tournaments and never ended up doing it. But I have a katana sword and all that for training purposes, and a hakama and a bunch of gis. So I'm going to layer a couple gis up, and I have an old gi I cut the sleeves off of that I was going to put over that, and wear one of my headbands, one of these headbands, one of my Hachimaki headbands, and the hakama and everything. I was going to ref like that.
Pretty cool, man. So here's my question for you then. You're right into the street beef thing. Why don't you start street beefs right where you're at and call it like Street Beefs the Dirty Desert or something?
Well, because again, the Athletic Commission already kind of said no street beefs in California anymore.
Okay. And
two, Scarface is very particular about who he lets have a branch, and since Street Beefs West Coast is already a thing, it kind of encompasses California, Nevada, Arizona. You know, it's already, you know, and the idea with Street Beefs West Coast is it moves around those three areas so that everybody gets a chance to fight more often than the other branches, because the other 2 or 3 branches are kind of a set location.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I would if you'd let me, but I mean, we're kind of our hands are tied. No street beefs in California, so they can figure out how to get around that. They do want to. They're working on it. They're trying to get around it so they can come back to California, because I get in Ojai we have a really nice setup over there. Barefoot Farmer has a really nice cage built on his farm there. So we're using that for our California location for a while, and then that crap came down. So
okay, so what's up with all the nicknames then? We've got, like, obviously you're Shinigami, the Reaper. We've had, I can't remember them, Ghostface, Killer, whatever the hell. Why does everybody have an alias?
Not entirely sure of the reason that everyone has to use an alias, but I don't know. It's kind of an interesting thing, because a lot of people pick like a lot of the trained guys already have a nickname from the gym or whatever, because you know how that goes. Especially people with jiu-jitsu gyms, everybody gets a nickname at jiu-jitsu gyms, right? So I think it's just kind of protect the identity of the fighters, since it is kind of a non-sanctioned event, just in case. But yeah, I mean, it just adds to the personality and the uniqueness of it all, right? You know, where else are you going to get a guy called the freelance gynecologist versus I eat babies? And those are 2 actual Street Beef fighter names.
Really?
Really. Freelance gynecologist, I eat babies. There was a guy, As a matter of fact, because of how much reach you get and how much more of a platform it is than doing a sanctioned amateur fight, because nobody sees those by comparison, this guy fought twice in Street Beefs, and his ring name was the name of his plumbing business that he owned, which he was trying to get more publicity for. He fought twice and dipped because he got the publicity he needed for his company.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So you get all kinds of, or like UTI. I think he said he lost a bet with a friend, so that was what he had to use for his Street Beefs name was UTI. I mean, and it runs the gamut from badass to comical. I mean, obviously Shinigami, right? You know, God of Death, the Reaper, you know, then you got guys like Nerd Rage, right? Like that's, you hear that name and you're like, okay, that guy's, that just if you're just hearing the name, right? You're like, yeah, okay, that's kind of a funny name. And then you see the cauliflower and you're like, okay, this guy's serious.
So you've got to be one of the most famous guys now that's come from Street Beefs. Everybody that I know knows who you are. Like I posted a thing, like everybody's like, oh shit, Shinigami's coming on, that's going to be fun. You've got to have a merchandise line.
I do. I have a Teespring line. The link, I have a link tree in my Instagram bio, and it's on the link tree.
Okay, what can we buy there? Can we buy the headbands?
No, I'm trying to figure out a way to get some headbands.
Okay.
And get my logo printed on them to sell them, but they don't offer anything like that on Teespring. You kind of have to pick from what they have. But I have like several different shirts. I've got like a Shout Out Rachel shirt. I've got the shirt with the head kick on it and my logo on the back. I've got shirts with my logo on the front. Hoodies, mugs, posters, wall tapestries. I think just for shits and giggles, I made a couple throw pillows on there. Magnets, stickers with the head kick.
This isn't making money for you? It's got to be making money.
Not lately. I haven't made a whole lot of money on there. I think I've made less than $600 total. But part of my problem is I'm so busy most of the time training. I'm not at home. I'm not really on my social media. I should be a little more active than I am, but I'm usually either like my normal routine on a given day is, especially on a Wednesday, is like, get up, eat breakfast, take a shower, go to the gym, go to Planet Fitness, do conditioning after Jiu Jitsu and all that, and then eat lunch, take a nap, get up, go train again, come home, do a couple of things, and go to sleep again. I'm like either training, eating, or sleeping based or commuting. So I should definitely put a little more time into advertising my stuff on social media.
Yeah, man, 100%. You can be making a buttload. We need the headbands, though. We got to figure the headbands out.
Yeah, headbands, and then I'm going to try to get some custom bobbleheads made, too. One of my gym partners sent me a link for that, and his idea was, what would be cool is if you made some bobbleheads where it's you kicking Detail in the face and it's Detail's head that bobbles. Yeah. So I'm going to see if I can do that, too, after I get my car situation fixed.
So to get to this link tree to make a purchase of your merchandise, we just go to your Instagram page?
Yeah, it's the link in the bio. So if you go to my bio, there's a link.tree link there, and that'll link you to my YouTube channels, my Twitter, my Instagram, which you'll probably already obviously have if you're on there. My official Facebook page, my Teespring store. I think that's everything I have on there right now.
Okay. I know my producer's listening. My producer's watching this right now, but I'm going to call him on FaceTime real quick so he knows that I'm fucking serious. But the merchandise line has got to get out.
For sure.
Okay. Derek, I am on the podcast right now with Shinigami. Are you listening to what I'm saying to you? I'm on the podcast right now with Shinigami. See, this is the fucking problem when you got a guy that's got too much technology and...
fucking phones and shit. I can't hear anything.
Well,
I just came back from walking the dogs. What the fuck is this shit, man?
Dude, I'm on the podcast right now with Shinigami. I need you to listen to the words that are coming out of my fucking mouth right now.
Oh, shit.
Okay, I need you to go over to Shinigami's Instagram page.
Okay, let me set up shop here.
No, you're not live. You're fine. I just need you to go over to Shinigami's Instagram page. I need you to click his link tree, and I need you to make a purchase on that link tree for us. I need you to get a t-shirt for yourself and a t-shirt for myself and maybe a couple coffee mugs. And I'll pay for that, obviously, but just go do it.
We'll just use the company card. We got it here.
Yeah. I know that you're listening to the podcast, but I needed this to be serious. Go over to his Instagram page, make a fucking purchase right now. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, done. Everybody else that's listening to this podcast, go to Shinigami's Instagram page, make a purchase on. This guy's a cool guy, man. He's the one guy that's gonna go into I'm gonna call it a street fight and wear a goddamn gi and a Cobra Kai headband. Let's go. This guy looks like he just walked off the set of Cobra Kai. He's awesome.
You know, funnily enough, they filmed some of Cobra Kai out here in Lancaster too.
Why are you not walking over to the set and say, "Hey man, do you need an extra?"
I wish I would have. So in the Lancaster Auto Mall, there was an empty auto shop, like auto lot, and that's where they filmed the exterior shots for LaRusso Auto. And I drove by there one day and saw the LaRusso sign on there, and I'm like, no way. No, that's got to be a coincidence. So right. I didn't even bother going over there. I wish I would have, though. I wish I would have, because that would have been amazing. I did get to meet Daryl Vidal this year, though. I don't know if you know who that is.
No.
Okay, so in the first Karate Kid, he was one of Mr. Miyagi's stunt doubles. Okay. He's the guy who came up with the crane kick, and he was in the tournament scene as himself. For fighting for Locust Valley Karate.
Okay.
So I actually was at this karate tournament in Vegas at the end of June, and he was there, and I actually got to take my picture with him. It was amazing.
Huh. Hey, Karate Kid's a fantastic movie. I didn't know that Mr. Miyagi had a stunt double. I just thought he was a badass.
Oh, no, Pat Morita wasn't. He didn't learn all the martial arts he knew. He learned training for that movie.
Really?
Yeah, Pat Morita was a comedian.
So when you look at the martial arts movies, who are the guys that you kind of looked up to as a kid watching? And because I'm delusional, and I thought Jean-Claude Van Damme wasn't a ballerina, and he was a badass because he was my favorite.
He's the Muscles from Brussels. He's got a kickboxing record. Jean-Claude Van Damme was definitely one of them. Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan was the first martial arts movie actor I ever got to see a movie of, because my mom was kind of like restrictive of what I got to watch, nothing too violent, blah blah blah.
Okay.
But when I was 8, Mr. Nice Guy came out, and I begged to go see it because I've always kind of liked cooking, and since his character in that was like a TV show chef, I kind of talked her into taking me. And Jackie Chan's more slapstick anyway, kind of more Three Stooges, not blood sport. So I was definitely Jackie Chan, so I ended up watching a lot of his movies, and then I eventually did see Bloodsport and Kickboxer, so Jean-Claude Van Damme. I didn't actually get to see any Bruce Lee movies till I was an adult, but in fact, I have almost every Bruce Lee movie on a box set except for Enter the Dragon, because of some stupid licensing issue they couldn't have that in the box set.
Well,
Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah.
Dude, Dolph Lundgren's an amazing badass. Dude's like 100. He's like 60 something, still kicking people's asses in kickboxing matches.
Oh yeah, Dolph's a badass.
Wild, and he's like a PhD in like 3 different sciences. It's crazy. That dude is a legend.
Well, my favorite growing up was always Jean-Claude Van Damme. I love that movie Lionheart, and then Kickboxer. Obviously, that was a great movie. But I also really liked Wesley Snipes. And this is going to transition into a funny story, because I always considered Wesley Snipes a martial artist. But then I met him, and I did personal bodyguard work for him when he was in Toronto. And he's a dick. I wanted to kick his ass.
Damn.
But he still does amazing movies, like Blade and stuff like that. They're very entertaining. So Wesley Snipes was up there. I really like the Tony Jaa.
Tony Jaa, yes. Tony Jaa and Michael Jai White are couple of cool, pretty badass martial arts actors.
Yeah.
Jet
Jet
Tony
Li.
Shaw, dude. That dude he's like Jackie Chan. He does all his own stunts.
Yeah, he's crazy.
That dude is like, bruh, I'm sorry. I don't care how much you're paying me. You're not going to get me to light my pants on fire and do a flying knee. I don't give a crap.
Not a chance. I also liked Tony Jaa a lot. Or did I say Tony Jaa? I
Yeah,
meant
we were just talking about Tony Shaw.
Jet Li.
Jet Li, yeah. Jet Li, bruh, yeah. Dude, I actually, as a teenager, I really started watching his movies like Legend and, Unchained and, or whatever it was, the one where he had the dog collar with Bob Hoskins in it.
Yeah.
The one though. The one is probably my all-time favorite Jet Li movie because it's so like off the wall and unique and just like such a. I mean, it's definitely a year 2000 movie.
Yeah.
Like that is definitely a product of its time in all the best ways, and has some of the best lines ever. My favorite thing is at the end when the evil version of him gets sent to the prison planet, the prison dimension, and he's on that pyramid, and all the other prisoners are coming at him like they're gonna make him their bitch, like he's fresh meat. And he's like, "I am Yula, and I am nobody's bitch. You are all my bitch." And he just starts beating everyone's ass. I'm like, what? What even is this movie? This is epic. Screw the Matrix. This is where it's at.
Hey, Keanu Reeves is a badass too. I like him.
He's a nice, yeah, and like I hear all these stories about how he's a nice guy, dude. Like I'd love to meet him.
Nice, and he's Canadian.
Yeah, that explains it.
We're not all nice in Canada. We get that stereotype there. I'm not very nice. I'm a prick.
Yeah, you know what? It's definitely just something that us, Americans down here have these stereotypes of people from other countries, mostly just to laugh at. and the thing with Canadians, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure you've seen South Park.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's your general American view of Canadians.
Yeah, we all live in igloos and we all say "a" too much.
And a boot.
Yeah, a boot.
And even polite all the time. Yeah.
So I had some questions come in for you.
Yeah.
You want to answer them?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay. So what would be your dream fights?
My dream fights is in who I want to fight, or my dream fights is in who I want to see fight.
Who you want?
I got lists for both.
Who you want to fight?
Like professionally, I would love to fight. I don't even know if we still fight. I wanted to fight. Like I used to have the three people I wanted to fight the most when I started doing MMA was Brock Lesnar, Roy Nelson, and Kimbo Slice.
Kimbo.
Obviously Kimbo Slice isn't going to happen ever. Rest in peace, Kimbo.
Yeah.
He was an absolute legend. I would still fight Roy Nelson if it was possible. And definitely would still fight Brock Lesnar. Stipe or Ngannou would maybe be a fun fight. And then in Street Beefs, I do have a couple other people I still want to fight. Other than my rematch with Striking Viking, and hopefully a rematch with Nasty Native to try to win my belt back from him before he goes pro. I want to fight Ryu Senin and the Destroyer.
Okay, so we had some maybe some fantasy call-outs, we'll say that. Some fights that maybe will never happen or could not happen. And then some real fucking fights that you could actually go and do.
I was actually originally supposed to go up this weekend to Scrapyard again and fight the Destroyer. That's actually who I wanted to fight when I went to go fight Nerd Rage.
Yeah.
And the reason I wanted to fight Destroyer is because he's another big dude that throws head kicks.
Okay.
That would be a good style fight for the fans, two headhunting heavyweights, man. But I decided to postpone that so I could work on what I need to work on before I go do any more fights. But that's definitely something I want to do before I'm done with Street Beefs is go fight the Destroyer and Ryu Senin. I'd like to fight him, and since he's an East Coast fighter, if I can, I'm going to try to set it up where when I do go do my rematch with Striking Viking,
okay,
I would like to fight Ryu Sen in the same day.
So
Would be cool.
are you aware of a gentleman named Jimmy Mooney?
Why does that sound familiar?
He's on TikTok all the time saying he's gonna fight in street beefs. He's beating up this fucking Bob thing. He used to have long hair. He cut it off. He's got a beard. He did some kind of Viking movie he was in. But this guy keeps talking about how he wants to fight. I swear to God, he's on the spectrum. But
No, I don't know. You know what? That's probably why it sounds familiar, because he's probably been mentioned in the Street Beast group.
yeah,
But I think he's kind of under the category of people that say they want to show up and never show up. The OG Yard, if you are in, either you go to streetbeasthq.com or in the Street Beast Facebook group, whenever they put a sign-up post for the original Yard, it's, don't put your name unless you can show up, but if you put your name, just show up,
yeah.
and
Jimmy
then they'll
Mooney.
give you the address the night before the event. But, like, the OG Yard, pretty much anybody who wants to roll up, if they're really serious, they can pull up and fight. They will get to fight. So that guy, if anything, is probably just one of the many guys who says they're going to fight and then doesn't.
Yeah, so screw
They
you,
probably
Jimmy. I don't like you, Jimmy. So go away. But this person obviously knows you maybe on a personal level. I don't know. Their name is Ryu_Senin.
Yeah, it's Ryu Senin. That's the guy, one of the other East Coast fighters.
Okay. So he asked a question. How are you dealing with the public somewhat turning on you?
You know what? That's something. It's kind of one of those things where when you kind of have to be prepared for certain things when you put yourself out in the public. I've been on the internet long enough. I've seen how it goes. I've been watching MMA long enough. It's like Chael Sonnen said, they love you one day, they hate you the next day, right? It is what it is. I can't focus on negative people, because if you start focusing too much on negativity, it's going to rot you from the inside out. I have goals in mind. I never started doing this for other people's entertainment. This was for me to test myself and see where I'm at and try to get sponsored to go pro. So I lost a few fights. I lost to guys who it's not even embarrassing to lose to,
If people
I learned some lessons. It is what it is. People are going to hate. I mean, people were hating beforehand. So I've always had haters since I started doing this. But, I mean, I expected it to go the way it did when I lost the fight finally. And it is what it is. People are going to think what they want. Even before that, people have thought what they want. I don't know how many times I've seen comments in the comment section about me being cocky or whatever, or winning some fights go to my head. And I don't know where people get these perceptions of me, but I don't feel like I've ever put that out directly myself. But people are going to want to, when you put yourself in the public, people are going to see how they want to see you, and people are going to turn on you.
That's true.
And it is what it is. They're not my circle. Doesn't really register on my radar. I laugh at those people. I do.
Is this Senin guy? Is he a rival of yours? Then could you fight this guy?
Yeah, I want to fight him. It's not so much a rivalry. He's another traditional martial artist that fights in street beefs. He's the East Coast kickboxing champ. He's done some MMA fights too, though. Matter of fact, I gave him a headband of mine because he wears headbands too, and he gave me one of his.
Oh, so you guys are kind of like headband homies then.
Yeah, headband and black belt homies.
All right. So this is a friendly thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
It's definitely a friendly thing. It's two traditional martial artists that respect each other's skills and want to fight each other. I really want to. He's on my list of guys I want to fight in street beefs. Matter of fact, I talk to him all the time on Facebook, and I actually was recently talking. I was like, I really want to because I don't go to the East Coast that much, and when I do, it's usually because they want me to come out there and fight. And since I got to go back out there to fight striking Viking, I really would like to fight Ryu Senin, and we actually agreed that we'd wear full gis when we fight.
Oh, we need a special rules match for this, though. If it's full gi, you got to be able to grab it and choke with it and do some stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
So, as soon as you said that this guy was a part of Street Beefs, when I asked the question, I was like, oh, this guy's being a dick. Here we go.
Oh no, we're cool. We're super cool.
Okay, as long as you're cool. Well, shout out to that guy. Hopefully that fight happens. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I'd like to do it. He's a black belt in Taekwondo.
Yeah.
So, in fact, he won his first fight by kicking this dude's legs out from underneath him.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
So he's got kicks then. Yeah. Hey, I got to give you credit, man. You're not scared to go and do the thing. Like, I wasn't altogether. I wasn't knowing what to expect, but you're willing to fight anybody, which is awesome.
I mean, I see it this way. Like, yeah, I kind of maybe bit off a little more than I could chew in a 2-month period, and didn't really have proper time to prep for anything, or like really, because you know how it is. You really should, kind of, especially when you know who you're going to fight, you should have some, training camp to really prep for him. And I kind of just didn't have at least a month, right? At least 1.5 months, something like that. I didn't give myself that kind of time. But my philosophy is, and again, I started this to test myself, period. But I should be able to fight anybody, because if I'm in the street, granted the street's a little different, right? No rules, and a lot of the stuff that you learn in Kempo, self-defense, right, for real world combatives is pretty nasty. Things you can't get away with in the ring, eye gouges, groin strikes, punching people in the throat, nasty stuff. So there's that, but I mean, it's just, again, Are you really a fighter? Are you really a warrior? Can you really call yourself a trained martial artist or an experienced martial artist if you're not willing to fight whoever they put in front of you?
It's very true. I got respect for it. Let's wrap this thing up, man. I'll get you out of here. You can get on with your night. I don't know if you got a wife or kids or what the heck you got going on there, but I'll get you out of here. Do you have sponsors you want to thank on the show today?
Well, I mean, I've got kind of they haven't always sponsored every single fight, but I mean, shout out to Forgotten Art Tattoo. If you're in Lancaster, definitely go, hit them up if you want tattoo work. Jesse's the guy, or Jesus is the guy. I don't even call him Jesse. 282. I know him as 282. He's one of my gym partners. But Jesus de Villa, he's the head tattoo artist there. It's his tattoo parlor. Tell him Shinigama sent you. Right next door to that is Challenger Tap House. If you go in there and eat, if you're in Lancaster, you want good food or over 60 beers to choose from, go to the Challenger Tap House. Again, tell them Shinigami sent you. Big shout out to AB Chiropractic and Dr. Hodges. Not a sponsor, but he does excellent work, and I always go to him before I compete to get an adjustment. Shout out to Craft Beer Review, their show on YouTube. Those guys are amazing. They sponsored me. Actually, they didn't really sponsor me directly, but they helped me get my coach out to corner me when I went to go to the East Coast to fight Big Smile.
Okay.
Shout out to CP Forge. Where are those trunks that I want my sponsor on? Oh, there they are.
Grab them up.
Yeah, let's see. Because I got a lot more sponsors than okay, so CP Forge, VicTig, for all of your background screen check needs, and NFO Racing, and Kataro. Not a sponsor yet, but I'm trying to get sponsored. I'm actually an affiliate. If you guys, anybody who does any martial art with a belt, okay, Kataro will make some of the best belts in the industry. In fact, the belt I've worn in my last several Street Beast fights, I think my last 6 fights, both of those belts are Kataro belts. Custom embroidery, get anything you want them, get your logo on them. Use code Danny10 for 10% off. It's a one-time code. Get it off your first order. Gives me affiliate points towards getting completely sponsored by them as a competitor. So that would help a lot. I mean, they're really awesome belts. This is deluxe Kempo belt. They have Jiu Jitsu belts. Matter of fact, the nicest thing about the Jiu Jitsu belts is they will embroider the stripes on your ranking sleeve for you, and they have a policy of free stripes for life. So when you order a belt and you get a promotion, you send the belt back, they'll put the stripe on it for free.
Oh shit, that's fun.
So when you order your belts like this, not this one actually, I actually have a couple I ordered for class too. So you can actually have them with room for more stripes. So I got room for 3 more stripes here.
Okay.
And then on the other deluxe Kempo belt I got for class, that's for when I do Shotokan Kata's at tournaments. That's why it's black and gold. But I have room for 3 more stripes on here as well. And the reason this is wider is because the Kempo stripes go on around the outside and they're a little wider, so they need a little more space. And then I will have to order another belt when I get 5th degree though, because Kempo belt, American Kempo is a little unique in that you end up, when you get to 5th degree, you get a whole block. Kind of looks like the ranking sleeve on a Jiu Jitsu black belt, but you get it on both sides. And then you get 4 more stripes, and then you get another block. So it's really unique looking. But yeah, I definitely can't recommend their stuff enough. They also make gis. You can get, I don't think they make Jiu Jitsu gis, but they do make karate gis. So if you do karate, you can get a gi with whatever embroidered on that you want. They have a variety of different fonts, different colors of thread to get your stuff embroidered in. White, blue, gold, metallic gold, red, all kinds of stuff. Silver, platinum, it's nuts. So again, Kitaro.com, everything they make is handmade in the USA. To order to your specifications. Definitely can't recommend it enough.
Well, I'm 39 years old. I've been involved in combat sports for almost 20 years now. I'm going to give you some advice as we're getting you out of here. You got to fall in love with boxing. You got to get those hands up to par, man, because you got power. You're a big dude. Like, with all due respect, you got the power gut like Roy Nelson. You can knock people out if you hit them. You just got to learn how to do it.
Yep, absolutely. Actually, it's been a couple years. I was training boxing for a while. It's been a couple years because, again, COVID, that place closed down. But I'm going to hit him up and see if I can go to his house and start boxing training.
You got to. You got to get on mitts.
That's definitely the deep dive for like the next 5-6 months is going to be more, a lot of boxing training.
Yeah.
Deep dive.
So we'll get you out of here, Shinigami. Guys, shout out to all my sponsors on it: USG Canada, TKO Beards, Fleshlight, Sovereign Extracts. One I forgot to mention right off the start of the show, the Main Event Boxing Company. Shout out to Ryan Wagner and Josh Wagner. Wags has got something coming up real quick, so make sure you pay attention and see what he's going to be doing. Go to my link tree. You can get all the sponsors, all the promo codes on there. Go to Shinigami's link tree in his bio. Make a purchase. Get yourself a coffee mug. Don't fuck around. Get some Onna coffee. Put it in the coffee mug. Shinigami, what?
And make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channels and watch them. I'm trying to get those monetized. My main channel, I need probably like 3,000 more viewer hours. My second one, I need a lot more subscribers, but,
Go search Shinigami out on the YouTubes. Give him a follow. Make sure you give us a like and a follow on the YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that shit. Guys, that's the final shot.